It usually starts with a knock, not a pounding one. You know, the kind that rattles your door, but soft, polite, rhythmic. Almost like someone practiced it beforehand. You glance at the clock. It's past midnight, and honestly, you weren't expecting anyone. The world outside your window is still, quiet, and for a brief moment, you convince yourself it's just the wind or maybe the neighbor's kid messing around. But then you hear it again. Knock, 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 and a voice, soft, almost to calm, says, "Please, we need to use your phone." That's when your instincts kick in, the kind you didn't even know you had. The hairs on your arms rise, and your gut tightens. There's definitely something off here. You can't see them yet, but deep down, you just know. Don't open the door. It's that primal feeling, like when you're being watched in a dark alley. You feel it in your bones. This isn't just a simple request. Something's wrong, and you should stay put. The first real story of the black-eyed children popped up thanks to a guy named Brian Bethel in Abilene, Texas, back in 1996. Now, Bethel wasn't some wild ghost hunter or a conspiracy theorist. He was a journalist, pretty grounded and logical. One evening, he found himself sitting in his car near a movie theater, jotting down a check to pay a bill. It was dark outside, just past 9 p.m., and he was parked under the cozy glow of a streetlight when he heard a soft knock on his window. When he looked out, he saw two boys standing there. One looked about 12, and the other was maybe 9. They were wearing hoodies pulled over their heads, and their pale faces were mostly hidden in shadow. Bethel rolled down his window halfway, and the older boy flashed a smile that felt a bit too polished, like he'd practiced it. They claimed they wanted to catch a movie, but had forgotten their money. So they asked if he could give them a ride home to grab it. Seems innocent enough, right? But something about it felt off, like a chill creeping down his spine. At first, nothing seemed strange, but the longer Bethel looked at them, the heavier the air felt. There was no emotion in their faces, no urgency, just stillness. He realized the movie they claimed they wanted to see had already started. Even if he gave them a ride, they'd miss most of it. When he pointed that out, the boy's smile didn't falter. He just repeated the same line. "It won't take long, sir. We just need a ride." Then the younger one spoke, his voice flat but calm. "We don't have a gun." That's when every nerve in Bethel's body screamed at once. The way the kids said it wasn't reassuring. It was robotic, mechanical, and then he saw it. Their eyes, solid black. No white, no color. Just darkness, bottomless, unnatural darkness. Bethel jammed his car into reverse and floored it. As he pulled away, one of the boys banged on his window with a dull, echoing thud. When Bethel looked in his mirror seconds later, they were gone, not walking away, just gone. He didn't sleep that night. When he finally told his story online, he didn't expect anyone to believe him. But within weeks, others began coming forward. Same pattern, different towns. Always at night, always children, always those eyes. They appear in pairs or small groups. They knock on doors, tap on car windows, linger near gas stations and rural roads. They never barge in. They always ask, politely, to be let inside. Some say they can't enter unless invited. That it's part of their rules, whatever they are. There's a story from Vermont. A woman was alone one snowy night when she heard knocking. She opened the door to find the children, a boy and a girl, standing barefoot in the snow. They said their parents would be there soon and asked to wait inside. She hesitated but let them in. The girl asked for the bathroom. The boy sat on the couch, motionless. The woman tried to make conversation, but he didn't respond. Then her cats started hissing. Every single one bolted from the room. She turned toward the boy, and that's when she saw it. His eyes, black as tar. He asked softly, "May we use the phone?" She felt dizzy, her vision blurred. Then the girl returned from the bathroom, eyes just like his, They both stood perfectly still. The boy said, "Our parents are here." She glanced out the window and froze. The tall figures stood at the end of her driveway, silhouettes under the falling snow, not moving, not breathing. The children walked out, the tall figures turned, and the four of them disappeared into the dark. The woman and her husband both fell violently ill within weeks. She had constant nosebleeds. He developed an aggressive form of cancer. The doctors couldn't explain it. Stories like that started popping up everywhere. In the US, the UK, Australia. Always with the same details, same eerie calm, same black eyes. The people who met them describe overwhelming fear, not because the kids threatened them, but because their bodies knew something wasn't right. There's a police dashcam recording from Utah that supposedly captured two small figures standing in the middle of a desert road at night. When the officer approached, the figures walked backward in sync, then vanished as the headlights flickered. The footage was later destroyed, officially listed as corrupted. Skeptics say it's all mass hysteria, that the black eyes could be a trick of the light or internet folklore gone viral. But those who've seen them swear it's real. Some say the children are demons taking the form of innocence to gain permission to cross into our world. Others think they're hybrids, part human, part alien, experiments gone wrong. And a few insist they're souls of lost children, vessels used by something darker that wears their faces like masks. There's a rumor among paranormal researchers that these entities feed not on blood, but on fear itself. That the moment you acknowledge them, they sense it. And when you speak to them, they can follow you, even if you run. One man in Oregon said he woke up to knocking at 3 a.m. when he checked his security camera. There were 2 kids at his door. He muted the audio, but their mouths moved in perfect unison. He refused to open the door, even when they started saying his name. He shut off all the lights and waited until dawn. When he checked the footage the next morning, the timestamp had frozen at exactly 3:33 a.m. for 13 minutes, then the file corrupted. In some newer cases, the children have started adapting. They've been spotted during the day, standing outside playgrounds, bus stops, convenience stores. They don't blink, they don't smile, and sometimes they call instead of knock. One woman in Colorado received a voicemail that was nothing but faint breathing and 2 words whispered at the end. "Let us in." The call traced back to a disconnected number. There's a chilling detail in all of this, one that doesn't get mentioned enough. Every time someone interacts with the black-eyed children, power flickers nearby. Lights dim, radios static, batteries drain. It's like they pull energy from everything around them, including people. A theory suggests they exist between frequencies, not fully physical, not entirely spiritual. They cross over when someone invites them to, and yet they never force entry. That's the rule. They need you to say yes. It's not just houses either. They appear outside parked cars on lonely highways or in rest stops at midnight. There's a case from Arizona. A truck driver stopped to rest when 2 children appeared outside his cab window saying their mother was hurt and needed help. He rolled down his window halfway, then saw their eyes. He hit the gas and didn't stop until daylight. Hours later, when he checked the back of his truck, he found small handprints on the dust-covered doors. The prints were burned into the paint. Maybe they're real. Maybe their stories meant to keep people from opening their doors to strangers. But think about it. Legends always start somewhere. Every ghost story has a root. And there are too many similar accounts too far apart for this to just be coincidence. One man claimed the children came to him 3 times. Each time, he refused to let them in. Weeks later, he died in his sleep. No sign of struggle, no illness. His security system showed the same footage 3 nights in a row to small figures standing motionless at his door, then nothing. So maybe that's what makes this legend terrifying. Not just what they are, but what they represent. That something out there is waiting for your permission to come in. That evil doesn't always break down the door. Sometimes it knocks, sometimes it asks nicely. And if you ever find yourself alone, late at night, and hear that gentle tapping, don't be polite. Don't speak. Don't look through the peephole. Just walk away. Because once you acknowledge them, they'll know you heard, and they'll come back.